So we have filled this right up to the brim, because what we're going to see, we're going to boil test. So obviously all our works, filled it right up. We'll do a boil test, see if she boils over. We anticipate, or we know, that being a jacketed vessel, boil over is a lot less likely than elements being directed into that work. There she is. A little bit of a vent. Alright, come close and have a look at the gauge. We're at about 90 degrees at the moment, and the gauge has built up a bit of pressure. We're getting close to 5 psi. So if we step aside from that, and we just open and release a little bit of pressure, there you go. That's enough. You see, we just drop that. Now, there's 2 ways to chill with the NextGen. We can send water into the jacket, right, up through the jacket and out here. When we do that, we want very low pressure. So we want to run it around 500 litres per hour, because we want the jacket to be able to breathe through. The water's coming out one section of the valve pretty low, and then it's breathing through the other section. Okay, and we don't want it obviously pouring out up here. Okay, if when you're cooling and you haven't got this, as the jacket's not able to breathe, it'll create a vacuum and suck the tank and suck the side of the jacket in. So that's one way to chill. Cold water in here, up. We switch this valve off. Make sure that's off. Okay, so it's just going in the jacket, around the inner tank, and then out here, nice and steady, around 500 litres per hour. Good if you've got a flow meter. The other way to chill is through our inbuilt Herms. So we can use this Herms coil as a chiller. So what we've done is we've set up the hose. We're going to run it in through this ball valve. We're going to shut off so the water doesn't continue on through the pump and up to here and stop, and then back flush up the tube. We're just going to shut that off. Now it's going to come up the tube, the cold water, and it's going to go in there, and it's going to chill the water in there, and it's going to chill the inner tank. Then it's going to come out. We've switched off the whirlpool. We don't want the water going in there, in the inner tank. It's going to come out. It's going to come out here, exactly where we want it to come out. And then what we're going to do is we're going to cross it, the water, so we save it, into our still boiler here, because we're going to distill that water, because we like to drink distilled water. So that's why we're going to distill the water. We don't want any wastage. Okay, so once that's chilled down to a temp, what we're going to do is then we're going to shut this. We're going to turn the water off, shut this valve off, open this valve, and then we're going to flush the rest of the water out into that tank. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to close this here. We're going to open this here, and then what we're going to do is we're going to run our wort. Once it's chilled, we're going to run our wort out here. We're going to get rid of this fitting, and we're going to run it through our mini filter that we've built. So we're going to filter out the hops, and we're going to throw that on there. We're going to run the wort into our filter. It's going to filter out any hops, and it's going to go into our fermenter. And that's what we're going to do for this particular brew. Like I said, there's 2 ways to chill: through the coil, or water straight into the jacket. I prefer the coil, so you can open this valve, leave it venting so it can suck air, so it's not going to create a vacuum in there, and you just chill through the coil. You don't have to worry about here, because it can breathe through the CIP here. Okay, so we're almost up to the boil. Once you get to the boil, let's see how it goes with 2 elements. 2 times 2,200 watt elements, and also let's see how it boils with just 1. So we're boiling outside. This is with 2 elements. So leave us a comment and tell us what you think of that boil rate. I reckon it looks ideal. As you can see, it's just got no chance of boiling over. because of the heat distribution from the jacket all around that Unitank. So there's no risk of mess or anything, which is fantastic. We are rigged up to chill. We're only 30 minutes from chilling, which is fantastic. Our pressure is at around one psi, but we're going to release that before we chill. Yeah, I'm looking forward to chilling. Looking forward to crossing that through the filter and into that fermenter. We're going to do a paddle whirlpool, but if we're chilling through the jacket, we can whirlpool with the wort. So we open this valve, send the wort through, send the wort up through the coil and then through the whirlpool here. In that case, we'd end cap that, and then we just run the water out, you know, slowly, like we spoke about earlier, just to allow it to breathe through there as well. You can probably take this off as well as an indicator. If water spills out of there, then you're probably running it too hard, because that's a jacket fitting as well. Yeah, but we're going to use the coil to chill. But you can obviously use the whirlpool to chill it to that 80, continue the whirlpool, add your whirlpool hops, and then you know, obviously just shut off your valve here, so no more water's coming in, so you keep it at 80 and do your whirlpool hops, bang 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 bang, and then open the valve when you're ready to continue chilling. So using the jacket to chill is a good way. We're just going to take the easier route here, and that's with our coil in the jacket. Once it's all done, like we said, we're going to capture the jacket water. We're going to use that jacket water as our cleaning fluid. So because we don't want to waste any water. Our dam's at 25% up here, so we're very conscious of that. Our water reserves, and then we'll CIP. Then once we've got all the water out of the jacket, we'll pull those elements out so you can have a look at them. You want to see if there's any black stuff on them or anything. Of course, they're in water, so there wouldn't be, but the proof's in the pudding. Let's show you anyway. Okay, we're at the end of our boil in the NextGen. I'm going to vent the jacket, leave this valve open. That's the first thing I'm going to do. Put that away there. I'm going to turn these elements off. Pull them out. Right, now okay. Alright, that's gone. Now we can start chilling. Let's have a look. What's happening in here? Beautiful, the convections have stopped. Okay, we're set up to chill. We've got the hose. We've switched off this valve so it doesn't go back up to here, but we've got this shut anyway, just in case. We've opened this and we've shut our whirlpool off to make sure that no water goes back into the vessel. Now we're going to turn our hose on. Alright, first bit, just a little bit of beer work coming out. So now that's nice and hot, so we're going to just stick that in there so we don't waste any more water. Now we're just chilling see how fast we're coming down. We've got the temperature in, temperature probe. So we're shooting down pretty quick, which is good. I'm going to take this off as well. Decided to do you a little bit of a favour here and show you the other way to chill. We're showing you this way to chill. Now let's show you the other. First, let's get rid of the water out of this coil. So we'll disconnect that. Switch that off. We'll switch this on. Now we can get rid of all the water in that coil. Let's go. Okay, now that that's gone, what we're going to do is take this fitting off. Stacey, if you could take that off, that'd be fantastic. Relieve a little bit of pressure out of that coil. Done. Put an end cap on that. Alright, end cap's on. Alright, so we open this valve, send the wort through here, through this valve, through the coil, and then we want to send, we've got an end cap up here so it can't go out. Then we want to send it back into the whirlpool arm, remember, that goes down. So let's open that. Let's open that. All right, now let's get this whirlpool going. Alright, all the air's coming out of that. Alright, now we're whirlpooling. Beautiful. Now what we're going to do is shift our hose to here. Okay, but first we just want to set the pressure. So we'll let us do that before we start, because remember, we don't want it pouring out of here fast. We want it to be able to breathe. Okay. So that's enough water pressure, okay? So we're going to send that through our jacket and out here. Let's do it. We're going to open that. Now let's save that water as well. See, we're whirlpooling. Be careful, Stacey, that water's going to come out. Alright, see, we're not coming flood out of that valve there. We're not flooding out here. So it's able to breathe, the inner jacket's able to breathe through there. We can save that water now if we want. That's hot. We're going to save that water just for now. Make sure we're a bit lower than that. So it's just nice and steady, slow. If you don't want to save it and you just want it to go to the lawn, then obviously just let it go to the lawn. Just like that. obviously run another hose. But basically what that's doing is it was getting rid of all the hot water in the jacket, replacing it with cold water, while the wort passes through that coil and chills down. That's another way to do it. Now if you are going to chill using the jacket, we would prefer you to obviously leave that valve right open, and prefer you to leave this valve as wide open as you can. Don't choke it with a small bit, but try and capture this water in another way. Don't waste it. You can run a slightly fatter hose so you can run it down into a bucket, but as long as that hose has got some space to let oxygen in there to allow the jacket to breathe. It is also breathing through here in this case, but if your water pressure is too much, you can create a vacuum. So you just need to be careful when you're using this jacket. Be smart about it. Don't go full on, full ball. The easiest way at the moment for you guys to chill it, using the NextGen. You don't have to. You can use external counterflow chiller if you want, but you can always just use this coil. Eventually it'll get there. There you have it, a beautiful whirlpool. We're currently at 82 degrees. So when that gets to 80, we can do a whirlpool addition if we want. Just turn your hose off, let it keep whirlpooling. So there's no more cold water going into the jacket. This is the faster way to chill it. The other way is a little bit slower. This being the more efficient way. But there's two chilling options for you. Alright, we've finished chilling. She's nice and chilled. She's around 30 degrees, but we'll let the fermenter do the rest. We're going to switch our pump off. Now we're going to clear the wort out of that coil. So let's do that. Again, we get our gas bottle. We shut this valve off. Good. We've got that valve open, that valve shut. That valve's open and our whirlpool's open, so that's where all the rest of that fluid's going. Alright, have a look up there. When it starts to blow bubbles, we know we're clear. Beautiful. Gonna shut that whirlpool off now. Gonna remove this gas. Now I'm gonna shut it off here. And I'm going to open it up here. Oh, that clamps in the way. Silly me. Let's move this clamp around. Open that valve. Alright, let's make sure that valve's shut. Wasn't. Gonna open this up. All the gas is out, and we're gonna open our blow off to release pressure. We're gonna open this up. Alright, now we're gonna see wort going into our filter. Down here. Perfect. Technically I should do a 15-minute rest, but I'm not really interested in that. Let's make our filter work. And there we go, we're transferring. Putting our filter to work. 15-minute rest would have settled all your hops and everything, and then that filter would be doing less work. But we'll see how we go with that filter under the pump. almost empty here. We can move that down a bit, or we can just tilt the system a bit. So let's do that. Let's capture all that. All right, pump off. There we go. There's your tube. Valve off here at the front. Now what we're going to do is send the rest of that fluid up into the fermenter and clear that line. Let's do that. There you are. Bang. So what we do here, we shut this valve off. Nice. Turn this gas bottle off. Get rid of that. And we're going to just remove this. No doubt it's got a bit of pressure on it. There we go. Let's see what we caught in our filter. We're going to shut this off. Take our filter off. So after a 15-minute rest, we've got a little bit in there, but not a hell of a lot. Before, when we did no rest, that clogged up. So remember, do that 15-minute rest. Don't think that these things are bomb-proof, because they're just not. No filter is. But at least it kept all those hops out. That's beauty. We've just got clean wort in there now. Let's have a look in the fermenter to see how much we've got in there. Whoop whoop. I think that's just about perfect. Nice bit of headspace. All right, let's whack that on the glycol. Let's chill that a bit further. Let's get it to pitching temp. We're going to pressure ferment this. And then we're going to drink it.